right, and we're live.
You would have thought during that 30 seconds I could have gotten out the announcement, but no, I was too busy. We're like an old married couple, just had nothing to talk to, just both on the phone.
Yeah, we just sit there. You finish with your dinner. Okay, let's go home. Yeah. Hey, Orcus, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
Okay, so how is the audio? I'm going to amateurly listen to it right now. Okay, yes, it's not doubling.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, so I had a heck of a time because it was the camera is coming in and the mixer is going in, and it's impossible. They're all USB 3 is all it says. So everything is named the same. So I'm like, is that? And then I had two going at the same time. So apologies for last week.
Nice.
I was thinking about deleting deleting that stream, but it exists.
Ooh,
So
nice.
yes, so natural light for the first time. Yeah,
I was going to say, can anyone tell we're in a different place?
Yeah,
that I had 100% input in.
Yeah, right. It had to happen fast.
Right,
Yeah.
I just went off for Golden Week, came out, hey, new digs. Thanks for all hard work, Jeremy.
Yeah. It was over the Japanese holiday, so I had to start things before everybody had their time off. And unfortunately, this week it was clustered. It was a 3-day weekend and a 4-day weekend, and so it was.
I don't know why it's called Golden Week. I didn't have a week off. I had 2 4-day weekends.
Right. Yeah. So it was a strange schedule this year, but it had happened, and we find yesterday I brought the last bottles of liquor and everything over, so we're all
Blew the dust
here.
off them. Yeah.
Yes. We're all here, and off screen. I don't think I'm going to stream me building this kit because I don't think it's going to go together easily. But we've got a 9-foot ping pong table that is going to be the foldable wargaming.
So why am I
table.
miniaturizing everything into like 6 and?
We could play
and
6
2
games
millimeters?
simultaneously. We'll have a whole tournament on this table.
Well, some of the games I was looking at, I mean, despite being down to 2 millimeter size, they still playing a 4x8 table. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, yeah. And you just, I guess then you can just slide things with the little.
Yep, the little stick. Yep.
Yeah, right. It looks very wargamey.
It does. We're all just sitting here in our suspenders.
Right.
Yep. Stereotypes. Sorry.
So so I saw that on Instagram. So you've been working on what's the dimensions of the cork that you're using?
9 centimeter square.
Okay.
So I originally found 10 centimeter square MDF sheets, and I really like MDF just because it's kind of sturdy and stuff, but it's kind of big. Anyway, then I was just at the dollar store, and I thought, cork coasters. They're a little bit small, but 3 of them set in a 3x3 square fit in a 30x30 cork board thing. So it almost works it makes them less portable, but if I bust out this little 30x30 cork board, it works like a frame to hold 9 tiles.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. And so what scale or what game is your focus? What do you want to play
either
on
6 millimeter or 2 millimeter, because I've been looking at the portable war game rules where it's 3x3 fast play, where it's it's just 3 by 3, right? 9 areas. And I said, okay, but if I divide each one in half, I could also play a gridded game where each square is 45 millimeters square, which holds 40 millimeter bases and stuff.
Oh,
So
cool.
we'll have to try a couple games of that.
Yeah. Let's definitely do some testing for that. That's good. Yeah. I was really curious, kind of what you're doing, and I think that's great.
Fine ground pepper as flocking material gives a very light sandpaper feel. Doesn't have enough texture for dry brushing.
Oh, it doesn't.
Because I'm trying to paint it, and I wanted the same kind of light, sandy bases that I have on my other stuff. There's just not enough. You can feel it, and it feels like real fine grit. It doesn't hold.
Oh, interesting.
The dry brush.
Yeah, I guess that's why fine sand and stuff, because it's still maybe on the fine level. It's sharp. There's corners and things to grab.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah, the coffee grounds that I normally use at 2 millimeter scale looks like people crawling over boulders, right? And I'm like, no, that's rough terrain. That's rough ground. I need the smooth, open stuff.
Right.
So I like basing with it. It looks cool, but it's just you got to use different stuff than what I'm trying to paint it with. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, very
Have I
cool.
mentioned that I've done this podcast for a lot, and I teach English professionally for a living, and I still can't make a coherent fucking sentence?
Well, you're using pepper and coffee, so yeah.
Yeah, the downside there, right? I was sneezing like nobody's fucking...
right,
I was trying to be real careful with it, but still,
Of
Right?
course.
It's just going everywhere. Anyone cooking in here? Ask me how like the Italian spice base is going when I get around to it.
Oh, right. I find an oregano really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like who's like shrubbery, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you if just did a clear coat, if you varnished over that, I'm sure it would look pretty cool.
Like that's what I'm like. People have asked before. Like everything is absolutely bone dry. And then once you put like the acrylic paint over it, it kind of plasticizes stuff. So I'm really hoping that nothing is going to rot or go off or mold. Yeah.
Right, yeah. That it's
Yeah, don't use wet used coffee grounds. That's just gross.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm really surprised the 100 yen stores here, and I think because of all the like train enthusiasts and stuff, they're starting to carry more and more like flocking and you know, materials for actually doing modeling and maybe mostly in Japan the big pastime is like kind of miniature dioramas. I think people like to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, not only your train boards, but your but it's perfect for working.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome. And speaking of, we're gonna be doing some as soon as our books get here, right? The new the
Forbidden Psalm.
Yeah, Forbidden Psalm kind of combined.
They've started arriving in the States and stuff, and I'm like,
Nice.
international shipping.
I think I got a notification.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, something shipped from the UK, and I'm pretty sure it's that. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so that would be fun, and I found some old Citadel, like old Chaos and Orc bits and stuff, and I think I'm going to try. They may not match well, but they're going to look very old school. Yeah.
You just slap enough like polyfiller or whatever on them, and everything works together, right?
Yeah, so it should be fun because I've had these bits forever. It was back in the day when you could actually, people weren't hoarding GW things, and you could actually, someone would just send you their old bits. I have 100 orc arms.
100 left orc arms, right? What are you going to do with this?
Yeah. I'm going to make an 8 left-armed creature. But this should be fun. I really, and I like the playfulness and rolling your gang, and then this is going to be my brute. This is going to be my heavy. Oh, and he's fearful and he runs away.
I think except for maybe weapons, I think I'm going to just randomize absolutely everything, including stat numbers and just. Yeah. Nice.
And the thing that I liked about this, because I did that when my daughter was here last year, we played a game and characters kind of emerge, similar to like a funnel, like a DCC funnel. Characters kind of emerge, and I'm like, well, we could play these in the RPG now.
Oh, you could,
yeah. We could just kind of move them over and role play with these characters now, because we already have developed their personalities by how they got their asses kicked or didn't,
But then you'll be so sad. So someone died in the war game, right? Someone died in Forbidden Psalm. Oh, that means we can't play them in the war game, right?
That's right. We did the prequel, But I like that, and I like that the rules, the stats, and everything are similar, so you can move the characters once they're made. Very cool. Well, let me just take a quick look at the chat, and we'll get started here.
Casey.
Oh no, Casey! Wow, great.
New setup means that the screen is a lot closer when I can actually read.
Oh, nice. Yeah, right. Yeah,
now.
That's right. Yeah, everything is a bit closer. We're a bit bigger. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do an experiment, so maybe next week there'll be a curtain behind us. I'm just going to play with a couple of different...
Wall off all the games?
A couple of different backgrounds so we can focus on things. Yeah, so it doesn't look like we're in some kind of weird Kickstarter warehouse or something.
That's what it is.
We'll play around with the
a virtual background where we can pretend we're out on a beach or somewhere.
Yeah, right.
We're casting from Hawaii this week, right?
We'll just switch it up. So we'll see. So good to see everybody, and hopefully, so we had a cancellation last week, but hopefully Dune is on for tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we already had some people saying, "Where are you guys?" I was all set, and there was a really nice comment too. There's someone that was so thanks for streaming this, because it's a raw live stream, so it's like rules checks and bathroom breaks and stuff. But it's like, thanks for streaming this. I'm enjoying the story. Like, wow, that's great. It's great that's actually a thing, because it seems it seems like it's not faces and webcams and stuff. It's a little bit different. There's less visual going on, so I'm glad that people are enjoying it and it's watchable. Nice.
Or at least listenable.
Casey says, gotta flex the games. That's right. Gotta show every we should have like a camera that pans across. This is actually a huge. It's like 10 feet of shelves.
Like not even half the games are on screen there.
Yes, so
humble brag.
Yeah, we could. The table's on wheels now too, so we can just kind of slide over every week. Nice. All right.
Now I'm imagining some kind of track setup where it's just like the thing that the presenters are on just slowly rotate around the room. Right?
That's what we need. Exactly. We'll have enough room to do that eventually. All right. Well, let's get this started.
I'm all set.
Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, D&D Beyond gets worse.
I don't believe
if
it.
you can imagine. Yeah, they figured it out. 13th Age, 2nd edition.
Mm-hmm.
Edgerunners starter kit.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, too much Edgerunners. We're talking every other week. And the Sassoon Files 2nd edition. So we were contacted by these guys, and so I thought I'd give them a mention. Their Kickstarter is hasn't launched yet.
Okay,
so but soon, tomorrow I think actually.
Ooh, okay. That's the benefit of being in the future here.
Yeah, right. The day after tomorrow for North America. So let's get started with the ugly news. Yes. So D&D Beyond just got a huge redesign. So this is mostly focused on their online marketplace.
Okay.
They have completely removed the a la carte purchases for individual content, and I didn't even know this existed. And it's brilliant. So obviously the people that Wizards bought D&D Beyond from were very clever. They knew kind of how to do something, how to kind of pull you in and have and kind of lower the cost of entry into playing, because what you could do is buy an individual subclass or a piece of a book for just a couple of bucks.
As someone who didn't partake, I think I knew this. Like, you could buy individual magic items or individual pieces of content rather than having to buy everything from whatever the latest book was. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So for players, this lowers. This definitely lowers their costs. I mean, I think the DMs are still, they want. They'll hoard it and they'll buy the full things. But that was a really nice thing, and we'll get into how kind of intricate the system was, and it's all gone now. So, and this is not a retroactive change. So people that have made these previous purchases, they get to keep the content that they have for that price, but the door kind of slammed, and now you buy the whole book or you buy nothing.
Right. Well, I buy nothing. Yeah.
Yes. So, and one thing that people writing articles about this kept saying is that they're not going to pay the full price to use one thing in a book. And people scan books online and people put pages online. So it's just going to encourage people to go around this system and, get a digital photo of a page in a book that they want, which is really unfortunate. I think they're actually going to be surprised how much. I don't know if it's going to compensate, fewer people buying the whole book versus, many people buying individual content.
Right. Yes. As someone who's coming around to the idea that piracy is sometimes the only way of archiving stuff, right? Personal anecdote, right? Being able to buy something a lot easier through legitimate channels helps curb piracy, right? Well, once it's all I got to do is one click to buy this one thing. Cool, yeah, I'll buy it, right? Provided you're able to do so. But yeah, having to jump through hoops, I don't need this entire source book. I'll just go download a scan of the one page I need.
Right. Yeah, so on D&D Beyond, players could purchase physical books or digital copies of core rulebook, source books, campaign settings, and that was integrated with their digital gameplay tools. So character creation and mapping software were included in D&D Beyond. So everything was right there, and a lot of people stayed digital. I even heard, when they were talking about the popularity of 5e, the majority of people that played 5e don't own the player's handbook, and they have never rolled a character on paper. They've only used those digital tools. So and it does enough to kind of maybe remove you that you don't quite know what you're doing. It does some calculations and things for you.
I mean, after, I'm not going to say people can or can't do whatever, but after a certain point, automation's pretty good. For a certain game, I remember trying to play Eclipse Phase that first time, and just why? It's automate this. Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, so previously you could buy a single race, a class, a feat, a background, or monster stat block. And they would even bundle, you could buy them bundled together for a slight discount. And they will honor previous purchases, but players need to report their purchases to customer service, and then their account needs to be resynced.
Thanks.
So, so for example, if you wanted to be a rune shaper and you wanted that content from Bigsby Presents Glory of the Giants, you could just purchase that feat specifically, $2 US. And if you wanted, a bigger selection of things from there, it'd be about $10 to get all of the piecemeal new options.
Sure.
Whereas Glory of the Giants costs $29.99 for the full purchase. So people are saying this is unfair, and it allowed people to inexpensively create characters, and they didn't have to limit their options and didn't have to spend tons of money. So currently 5e has about 50 official books. So yeah, you're looking at a lot of money if you're just going to purchase everything that exists for 5e to have access, digitally have access for your players.
$150?
Yeah, for your
times 30, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
No,
1,500. 1,500, yeah.
There's a reason I went into art. Anyway.
Yes, and especially if you're not even sure you like D&D yet, like that kind of upfront investment is, people that are just, okay, I'll try this out. It's nice. It's like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, here's $2 and I can do this and try it, and it's either for me or not. So doing away with that practice is going to, create, I think, create a barrier now, and maybe that's what they want. They want you in or out. They want you pay pig, or they want you to just fuck off. So we'll see. But it does involve contacting customer service,
which is something like the more hurdles they put in place, the less people are going to do it, right?
Yeah, that's very true. So, and the one comment that I loved below one of these articles was someone just said, "Bye-bye 5e, I'm done. I will look for something else to play, and it won't be from Wizards or Hasbro." I expect a lot of people to go back to pirated PDFs, but honestly, I don't care enough about the game to even do that. So, ouch. So yeah, that was some kind of bad news for people that play digitally to have limited options, and the price basically going up. But Wizards said, "Oh, this is bad news. More bad news during our 50th anniversary. Let's release something that's good news and distract." So their distraction tactic is immediately said, "Oh, by the way, the 2024 revision of the D&D core rules will be included in the SRD, which will be under Creative Commons." So immediately, as it's released, it'll go into their SRD under Creative Commons. No open gaming license. Don't talk about that.
We don't talk about the open gaming license.
But the new SRD 5.2 that this is going to be under won't be available until early 2025 after the Monster Manual. So it's going to come out, but it's going to be almost a year.
I kind of understand. They want to put everything out first, so that before it goes in the SRD. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So it'll be localized in all the languages that they're publishing it in. So
Japanese.
Yes, right. Yes, I think they've backed away. So that's that's a little bit odd, but it also seems like let's try to get some something that'll make people happy out there, because we keep messing up.
The traditional news is going to make their shareholders happy.
Right? Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I think that's the shareholders like, good move, guys. Yeah, full price for everybody. But let's look at something else. So if you wanted an alternative to 5e, where would you go?
If it still uses D20?
Yes, right.
I know where I would go, yeah.
So the 13th Age is getting a second edition. So the storytelling action fantasy game. What they're thinking is incorporating the best parts of the D20 fantasy gaming with story-focused rules, and it's getting refreshed and modernized in the new version. So the original version was out probably maybe like 10 years ago.
You're asking someone who can't remember what happened last week, right?
Right.
A while ago.
Yes. So you can download a preview document currently on the Kickstarter page. But if you pledge at the Ochre Jelly tier or above, you'll get a fully playable draft of the 2E rules as an early access reward right away. So what are they doing in 2E of 13th Age? They're revamping the class powers. So they've it's crunchy, but still they're calling it streamlined combat. And no classes are left behind in this improvement. Revitalized monsters. So monsters have powers that trigger unpredictably. So they're trying to come up with more diverse mechanics and more randomness, I guess, to challenge heroes in surprising ways. So I guess surprise is the note that they were saying.
I think there was also kind of maybe they did this in 5e too, like refresh powers, like. After a monster or a big bad uses like a pretty devastating power, beginning of its turn, you would roll a die, most often like a d6, and that power came back on a certain die roll. So that's how I think they get into like the unpredictability, where it's like the thing is not going to hit you with its giant mega attack every single turn.
Oh, nice.
You kind of don't know when it's going to.
Yeah, that's cool. Right? Yeah, more unexpected. So if you're being tactical, it's like, oh, we're getting all our defenses ready, and it looks like it's asleep. Yeah, right. Nice. And your characters' backstories will shape the game. So they are going for heroic, over-the-top story arcs, but also intense personal drama. So every character will have one unique thing, and this will be the raw materials for adventures and campaign arcs, things to be included. And we'll include bonuses to relevant skill checks. And this is all tied directly to the icons. So do you remember, the icons?
So I remember I had a bunch of the 13th Age books from the first edition. And Okay, 13th Age is fine. Just I kind of bit burned out on D20 class and level systems, which is why I sold all my stuff. But they one of our complaints when the first time we reviewed it was that they start the book with icons, these 13 iconic NPCs for their setting,
Right.
and it was a bit hard to get into with that initial chapter. But once you actually got to the meat, you're like, okay, you have each character has a certain number of points which they can put into kind of not necessarily a relationship, but how much they care about or associate with one of the 13 icons in the game.
I see.
And the more points you put into it, like the more, I guess, the more sway that icon has kind of over your character's destiny. So, or not necessarily destiny, but like if you had like 3 points in like the relationship with like the archmage, then it'd be like, okay, you actually worked with the archmage, meaning that gave the DM a hook to say, by the way, the archmage is sending you on this quest, right? So it also can be used for like relationships. Like, okay, I have certain number of points in this. I wonder if like, okay, that's going to give me contact with other characters who also follow this person. So it was both mechanical and flavorful, and the icons aren't like little images, right?
Yes.
Icon means kind of iconic character in the setting.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so they said the emphasis or the point of it was similar to Greek heroes, having a complicated relationship with their gods. So yeah, interesting. So the icon rules as presented in 1E, they admit, this is a note from Rob, one of the designers, said they were indecipherable and harder to use. So now how those connections work narratively and mechanically are more clear. And interacting with your icon-aligned NPCs, flashbacks, channeling raw iconic power, and getting help from iconic associated spirits. So yeah, they've added a bit. So in the first edition, they were trying to fit everything into a single book, core book. And because they didn't want to do that, releasing unnecessary multiple things just to get you to buy more stuff. They didn't want to follow the Wizards model. But they've said, okay, but I think in this case, we're going to have to break it up into 2 books. So they're doing a player's and a GM's book, 2 reasonably priced and reasonably sized books. So the player's handbook will be about 240 pages, do character creation, chapter on kin, classes, backgrounds, combat rules, and icon connection rules. And then the Game Master will be 160 plus pages with campaign advice for running the game, monsters, setting materials for the Dragon Empire, treasure, and a new introductory adventure. And of course, because it's a Kickstarter, there's a slip cover or slip case, slip case for everything. Are nice, Yes. So, and what they're saying is, except for that original core rule book and the GM screen for first edition, everything is going to be entirely compatible with these revised rules. So they didn't change enough that you just throw away everything from first edition. Everything that was developed, you'll still be able to use. Revised rules for monsters, magic icons, and classes will all work into E.
Cool.
And and so that means you can mix and match from any of their previously published books. And they've got nice art. Lee Moyer and Aaron McConnell will be doing full color art for the edition. And they've emphasized we are foregoing any involvement with AI.
Oh,
so
nice. Okay.
yeah, entirely written, designed, and illustrated by humans. What do you know? So this is Pelgrane Press, of course. And Idle Red Hands, the former, they got a thank you, right, in first edition book for.
Did we? Was it actually in the book? It was definitely on the website.
I remember mentioning a thanks from these guys. So that's very funny. So they have an early bird, which will get you discount off the player's guide, and of course it is a Kickstarter, so they're going to do a deluxe faux leather, limited edition version.
I guess you can't not, right?
Yes. Maps, large printed maps, 13-age dice tray, 30 pieces of music to give you just some atmosphere.
But not a 30-piece orchestra.
Right. And a giant 57mm escalation die.
Yes, which Orcus mentioned in the chat. Escalation die, right?
Yes, right.
Escalation die was something that like ticked up every combat round just to kind of, and it was a bonus to everybody, which kind of means like it wasn't only the heroes, it was the monsters too, which kind of means it's like a bonus to nobody, but it's kind of like it's like an escalation.
Make the numbers bigger.
Exactly, make the numbers bigger just to kind of keep combat.
Nice.
I think there may have been a few mechanics that actually interacted with the escalation die.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. And to determine the fickle favors of the mighty icons, there will be enchanting D12s, which will have the different icon on each face. Yes. So nice. There's a custom thing to get. Yeah. So the faux leather golden boss limited edition, and of course they're going to have a slipcase as well. So I'll put the link to this campaign in the description, and yeah, check that out. So this was kind of similar to what Paizo was trying to do. This was give people an alternative. When 4th edition came out, they were kind of...
I forget when exactly it came out, but so I don't really want to say it was definitely like an alternative to 4th edition, but I mean, it was an alternative class and level D20 based fantasy game. And I think the quote, the pull quote they pulled was like, if I was going to play like a D20 class and level based game, it would be this.
Oh,
but
nice.
I don't think I'm going to play those games.
No. But what quote are they going to put now? I'm not going to play this game.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I just said I'm burned out, a bit burned out on D20 class and level basis. But if I was going to play one, it would probably be 13th Age.
Nice. All right. Well, our Telsarian Games is releasing. We're talking about more Edgerunners, so I apologize if you have zero interest in anything anime related.
The Edgerunners Weekly.
Yeah, right. But I like Japanese designed cyberpunk, the character design, like art direction and design of cyberpunk characters by Japanese illustrators. Yeah, I like that. So we got another announcement. So previously we talked about a miniatures game that they were doing. Yeah. So they were theming a miniatures game around the Edgerunners setting, and I think because I mean there are iconic or known characters in cyberpunk, but this anime really got people excited about the setting, and it connected to the game, so it kind of worked well to feed back to the tabletop. Right. So,
and when you say there's iconic characters in cyberpunk, you're talking like the capital C cyberpunk, the original TTRPG.
Yeah, right.
Not small c cyberpunk, the genre.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, not the genre. Yeah. The 2020, cyberpunk 2020, and then the cyberpunk red now. So I think this really gives some characters that people got attached to, and are like a good in to this. So it's been 2 years since Cyberpunk Edgerunners was on Netflix, and there are no plans for a second season, but there is a starter set now for the tabletop RPG. Okay. Cyberpunk Red is getting Cyberpunk Edgerunners Mission Kit, and this is a starter kit for the table. So I guess it's I think they previously did do a starter set, or at least a free quick start.
I think for Cyberpunk Red, I think there was.
So this is themed specifically around the show. The nice thing they stat the characters from the show, but you don't play them. So I think that was a good move, because that's a little silly. Right. Yes. So the starter set will include 3 books, 120 pages. The mission kit will be how to play for first players, a timeline. There'll be a lore book with the official backgrounds. And they'll stat out David Martinez, Lucy Kushinada, and all of your favorite protagonists from the Netflix series. But they will also include an adventure called The Jacket, and then 7 pre-generated characters specifically designed to play in that, so you can choose between what kind of character you'd like to play. So this is coming out to mid to late June for $35 US. And so you don't have to have any form of knowledge of Cyberpunk Red to play, but it is using those rules, and it'll be a nice quick introduction. And so not D20, right? A single D10 you're rolling with adding relevant skills, attributes, and bonuses from your gear against a difficulty value.
No, that's just half a D20.
oh, that's true. And then also rolling for successes and complications. So the full-length mission, The Jacket, will feature these 7 pre-made characters, but also included in the box are themed dice, standees, tokens, and maps. So everything you need to run this adventure. And it was funny. I put this in the show notes, and then I got an email from Artisarian elaborating on what this release is. So immediately I was like, oh, well, that's perfect. So now we have even more details. So the digital version you can purchase from drive-thru, and then the physical version will go to retail and then also on their site. I'll put a link to that so you can find it. So here's the details of what's contained in the jacket. So the adventure included will be 30 pages of a mission, 8 pages of NPC stat blocks, and then 2 pages for GM advice for newer GMs. Okay. And so like I said, you're not playing the Edgerunner characters. You can play one of the 7 pre-gens. And I think they also, if you already have the rules, character creation rules, if you already have the Cyberpunk Red, you can also make your own characters if you want more attachment, if you want to be in it, if you're playing this, I guess, for the setting. And so they elaborated, of course, you get a gig, your group gets a gig and you're assigned. And my my favorite thing. So you get a warm welcome from a group that seemed to arrive in a beat up old REO meat wagon ambulance. So REO meat wagon was one of my favorite things from this from this email. But they promise you multiple different endings depending on the character's decisions. So there's a lot of fluctuation with how things can go. But I guess they're all kind of focusing towards a climax. Huh. And reminding you, this is not a brand new edition. This is not a full source book. This is intended to be a starter set and to get you started with the rules for Cyberpunk Red in this 2077 setting. And they're promising, we've heard this, I think this was 2 years ago when Netflix did this series, promising, and when the game was getting better, a source book for 2077. So right now it's basically, Cyberpunk Red is set.
So this is not a source book. This is like, there's information in there, but it's...
Yeah, it's a little taste, a little tease. And if you've played the RPG, computer RPG, or the console RPG, you know the setting a bit more. This is just reinforcing things, kind of fleshing things out and letting you play. So Cyberpunk Red's easy mode was their free kind of quick start that you could jump into. So they had a something similar to this, but without any connection to a kind of an established setting. And a couple of fun quotes was Mike Pondsmith said, "I built a world where people were rebels." So that was his why he thinks that this RPG endures is because everybody is playing a rebel against.
Not saying you didn't. All I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure the original Cyberpunk allows you to play a cop.
Oh yes, that's right. Well, it's a rebellious cop. He's rebelling against the rebels. And they confirmed there will be 2077 source books. And fun fact, Robin Williams was a fan of the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG. What do you know? It's like one of those things on the Internet Movie Database. Like, did you know? So he liked Legend of Zelda and Cyberpunk 2020. Yep.
Okay.
Just in case you needed to know.
I did I? I don't know. Regardless, I do. All right.
And lastly, but not leastly, so we were contacted by Sons of the Singularity. So I will be joining this cult. I have my robe. No, actually, it's a group of designers that is kickstarting the Sassoon Files second edition. So this is a revised version of a previously released setting, and I think the setting is pretty compelling. I think it's a really interesting choice for Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
So this is horror in the Pearl of the East, a 1920s Shanghai campaign for Call of Cthulhu. So we were contacted. So this isn't an endorsement. They just reached out and said, please mention this before this starts if this looks interesting to you. And launching May 11th. And so this was Jesse Kovner that reached out from the Sons of the Singularity. Yes.
Which doesn't sound sinister at all.
No, not at all. So I'll put some links to where you can take a look at their stuff. So the horrible truth is the bon vivant Victor Sassoon trades correspondence with Dr. Henry Armitage. They share a common goal and modus operandi. Victor fights to keep his empire safe, but he also fights for a Shanghai free from the mythos influence. Victor has gathered around him professors, detectives, criminals, and other problem solvers to mount a defense against the rising tide. So the interesting thing about this setting is you're dealing with the communists and the nationalists. There's a Jewish tycoon that is basically supporting the refugees, people that have fled to Shanghai. The Triad Society is there, and we're on the brink of Japanese invasion. So that's like a very tense situation. It's a very interesting historical setting to then throw in the Elder Gods. It's like, oh, and Cthulhu's here too. Well, that's why things went so shit. But this is like I said, this is a revised version, and this is double the content of their first edition. Okay. So more scenarios, expanded campaign setting, and improved production values. Yes, so you're battling the and also the secret history of the mythos, kind of in context of Shanghai. So they'll be releasing a PDF and a hardcover book. There'll be 7+ scenarios, 300+ pages long, a modular design, so you can play as a one-shot campaign or integrated into your ongoing Chaosium campaigns, or the classic ones from Chaosium, lore sheets, and then 15 pre-generated characters, historically accurate maps, and, of course, immersive handouts.
I think Call of Cthulhu needs those handouts.
Yes, you've got to be looking at newspapers and journal pages torn out and all that good stuff. Yeah, so this was nice that they reached out, because I wouldn't have known about this. I missed the first edition, and it's a really interesting setting, something that stood out. So if that sounds interesting to you, give it a shot. It does look like the production values kind of jumped up, and
nice.
even their little introduction video has some nice historical film footage of Shanghai in the 20s and stuff. Yeah, they did a nice job of putting it together. So yeah, if that sounds compelling and politically very tense, it could it could be a fun setting to try out. Yeah, so thank you. Thanks very much for... So that's Jason Sheets and Jesse Kovner are the developers and writers from Sons of the Singularity for that. And so a link to that will be included, and that will do that horrible tense situation will end it for today. So where can people find you?
My brain fell out. Sorry. Blue Sky, Instagram, and Facebook groups, which is the only place I hang out, just because there's wargaming groups over there. It's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where most recently I'm doing that portable wargame stuff.
Nice.
Although my order of Bacchus 6mm late Roman Empire Bacchus miniatures have shown up. So,
oh yeah, and I saw that, and you're not overjoyed. There was some
No, I mean, it wasn't as bad as that only games order.
Right.
But I think what happened is lances and spears. Like, I didn't really order anything with pikes, but there are a few with lances. Everything was there. Everything was like bagged up nicely, but the box was kind of big, and in transit I think stuff just slid around, right? It would have helped if the individual bags had been like taped or better secured to the boxes, because I think all these little bags banging around together, like, only one thing broke, and at 6mm you ain't fixing it, right?
Right.
But yeah, but I've had other people say that when they ordered like pike and shot era miniatures, which is all about the pikes, like the Bacchus miniatures come with the pikes taped to a piece of card to prevent bending. And I think what happened is, like, I did their build a unit option, which kind of allows me to buy smaller strips. The sets where it's like, here's 105 miniatures, I'm like, cool, don't need it, I think come that way, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They've prepared these packages versus just here's a couple random strips. So I'm still excited, still looking forward to it. I think the packing could have been marginally better. Right. Anyway, so on that rant, where can people find you?
I'm trying to do, actually, if I'm once the move is finished, so I can start doing again.
Now the worst part of the move, tidying up.
Yes, right, yeah, opening boxes. Yes. So the abuse cartoons. Yeah. So this is how I used to show up at comic shows. This was something you buy my single page. Single panel gag cartoon, so a joke and a picture. So this is how I originally published this. So if you were at San Diego Comic-Con, this is how you would have found
what
me.
era?
Early 2000s. I stopped in 2007 was my last show. And so Abuse Cartoons, I live stream the drawing of those 2 cartoons a week on both YouTube and Twitch. And if you want to read the cartoon, 20 years. Yeah, this book is actually dated 2004, so 20 years.
20-year anniversary. Wow.
Yes, right. Of the cartoon. So gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing here, the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
Yes, the strongest of all supporters.
By visiting patreon.com/upturntable. So we have several tiers where you can kind of show us what you like on the channel, what you want to see more of in the podcasts, and other content. And we're doing actual plays and lore videos and all kinds of fun stuff. We got to get back to reviews. I just saw on the YouTube podcast thing that now Google Podcast is now going to be all on YouTube, and our reviews is a podcast all by itself. But the last review was like Forbidden Lands or something. So it was a long time ago. But we get back to that. Yes. So all our stuff can be found on upturntable.com, and then on all social media, upturntable. And this actually was streamed hopefully on Instagram for the first time.
I'll
So
check.
we kicked kick.com to the side, and we tried to get on Instagram. It wasn't available before, so now we are hopefully there. I'm sure it's just going to be this. It'll just be the chat.
There's no people on this one, yeah?
So it's either going to be big
or
black
even worse,
squares.
it'll just be like one of us.
Right, yes. One of us reacting to somebody. But yes, so all of that is available. And the audio for this goes onto the RSS feed for patrons. So if you want to listen to this just on audio, if that's, you don't even have to look at us.
Don't want to see our faces.
Yes.
Yep, fine.
And we did all this moving for nothing. It could have just been as an audio podcast from anywhere.
Hopefully the acoustics are better.
Yeah, I hope. We'll see. The sunlight is better, at least.
It is.
And so we'll be back again next week.
Yep. Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. Yes, and we christened the new space with some Krispy Kreme donuts. We're always drinking coffee, so I was like, what would go good with coffee? Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm still amazed by, that anybody in Japan can eat these donuts. And the sad part is they're rarely fresh. So you got to do the microwave trick, but they're sure good with black coffee. And they don't have the dozen donut box here. They only have this little. So if you order a dozen donuts, you get 2 little shrimpy boxes. I think because nobody has, you got to take it on the train and stuff probably. So a big unwieldy box is not going to work. But yeah, they are here for some reason. And it was funny when they were first, I'll stop talking about donuts, but when they were first out, they did like a pop-up shop in Tokyo that had like an hour-long line. Like people freaked out to get their hands on these just because they're, exclusive. They were exclusive and famous from the US. And now they're just here making people diabetic. So how is everyone doing? Yes, sorted out the audio from last time, so that was good. Yeah, it's just tricky having to get both the mixer, the camera, and like Discord audio and video in through this simple setup we have. yes, Orcus. Yeah, so now we can do the gender reveal party for the for the illustration from the red box. Yes. So funny. Yes. So there was a WizKids. Yeah, WizKids. Yeah. Look up look up the response for what WizKids did to that fighter. The unknown fighter has been revealed. So yeah, I should have some smoke of a certain color, and we can enjoy the gender reveal of that fighter. Like, to me, that it's covered up now by the chat, but to me, this is obviously young Conan. But who knows? Who knows what imaginings go on. But anyhow, yes. So how is everyone doing? Yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. Orcus and Scott and Casey. Yeah, good to see you. Nice. Johnny Silverchair. The famous characters from Cyberpunk. Silverchair. Pretty soon. Very cool. Yeah, so some Dune tomorrow, which should be good. Oh, I'm not getting yeah, no echo at all this week. I'm not getting the oh, I guess it is. Oh, it is the full chat. Yeah, sometimes this combined chat is odd. I can see, from all of the places, I can see the chat, but sometimes it is delayed. Nice. But yeah, very good. Yes, yeah. If anybody wants to give that a shot, I have no idea. I can't find it. Like, if I go on our page or whatever from Instagram, I can't see this streaming page. But Instagram has a streaming option, at least the the server for streaming. So we'll see how that goes. So that's just Facebook, right? So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, Dune's been fun. We had to skip last week. One of the players had no voice, so we skipped last week. But I don't know. I'm the one running it, so I don't know if it's fun or not. You'd have to ask those players. But yeah, it's getting complicated. Hey, Agent Carolina, good to see you. Yeah, sorry, Carolina, for the missing session. And I should be more communicative. I should, as soon as I know that things aren't going to happen, I should post on the channel just so nobody's waiting. But hopefully it's casual enough and easy enough to get the notification or not. Yes, Matt's in a tight spot. But there are options. Gonna do something stupid. I can't wait. So tune in tomorrow and watch Matt's character do something stupid. Nice. Yes, Matt, I spared you and having to suffer not being able to moderate those crazy kick people. Yeah, I think everyone is 13 years old that found us from Kick. And if we're not doing any video slot machines or whatever. I don't think we're ever going to get anywhere on the Kick platform. So keep looking for other places to reach out to. It's interesting though. So many, I guess, people that have tried to compete with Twitch or whatever, all the various platforms are just starting to die. There's only a few places. There's a lot of options, and there's also a lot of international options, which an English-based podcast isn't gonna, or the whole channel isn't gonna do wonders in. But it's a interesting. So I got a total of 100 pounds of Haven, Gloom, and Frosthaven. That's why we have steel shelves here, so we can support the weight. I couldn't imagine some poor fool trying to put that on one of those IKEA bookcases and just watching that particle board just give way. Yeah, it's insane. The only way to reasonably get these games in English versions of these games to Japan is through their Kickstarter, because they do subsidize a bit of that shipping. It's pretty reasonable, both the price of the game and then the shipping through BackerKit or their fulfillment, and otherwise it's just insane. I can't even imagine. It'll be more than the game, more than the retail price of the game to ship it to Asia. It's crazy. That's right. That's a Matt will just be repeating fear something. I must not fear. I shouldn't roll. I should try to boost my attributes. Yeah, that's I'm really curious now, because now that we've played Dune, and Dune doesn't use the challenge dice. There's no D6s. It's only D20s. I'm really curious. I downloaded the free little quick start for 2nd edition Star Trek, and I'm curious how that changed things. I didn't spend enough time with it to see what they did, but it's much less like looking for special symbols and things having special effects. So I wonder what how they're going to give advantages to rolls and things, because Dune is pretty abstract, and I can't imagine Star Trek being able to do that. But any revision of that of the layout of that Star Trek core book will be much appreciated. Yes, we will see. Yeah, but that's been really fun, and I think I'm gonna Brian Herbert up the setting a little bit. So there's really interesting events that some of them have been invented by the ghostwriter for these expanded Dune novels, and some of them were kind of suggested in the Frank Herbert stuff. But there's interesting events that are going on, and I think I'm gonna play with the timeline a little bit and have them like either jump up a generation or start a little bit earlier, so that things can get tenser, because I think there's a lot of really fun kind of contraction that's going on, and the rise and fall of certain houses. I want that to happen like in the lifetime, because I don't think we're going to play 100 sessions of this game, so they may not start playing their children. So I want some of these things to actually happen during the time frame that we chose, or something that's just suggestive, or seems like it. It feels like those events, because there's some really cool rebellions and things, and then how the Emperor responds to those should be fun. Oh, Matt's talking. Oh, interesting. Fallout is the most crunchy of the 2D20s. Yeah, because it's an older one, right? Like they did. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's before, so maybe more Conan, Mutant Chronicles era than it is for. They've started to refine things. I think starting with John Carter. I think John Carter was a little bit more abstract and pulpy. They tried to make it work well, and so I'm curious what they do. Oh yeah, that's right. Orcus has played it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun when I ran it for my son, and his friend says Orcus. It is a bit crunchy, but it was easier than Conan. Oh, good. Yeah, so they have made some changes since the beginning of 2D20. Yeah. I'm surprised. The sorry, the they made such a change to Star Trek. Got rid of those dice, and then they put the dice on sale. The dice that you'll never use again are now on sale. Very funny. But yeah, looking forward to doing that. And yeah, I think everything is working okay. I'm the computer is a little bit closer. I think that's one of the problems is now I have the monitor and the everything a little bit closer to the table, so you're hearing the fan on the computer. I can take that out from the audio, but on the live stream, it's a thing you're gonna hear. Nice. Oh, and Orcus, about 13th Age. Enjoyed the few times I played 13th Age. Not enough to back a second edition. Yeah, it's a lot of options now. And Matt said, "Man, my Black Sword hack game is on their 4th adventure. It's been a blast." Oh, cool. That's really good. Good. Yes, a lot of options. Yeah, with this move too, with D&D Beyond, it's gonna chase some people away because there are so many. If you're only concerned about price, there's so many cheaper options, and if your GM is willing to invest in the module or the content on Roll20 or Foundry or somewhere, then there's almost no financial barrier to entry, so it's much easier to be trying other games. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think this was a dumb move. Oh, and I didn't even that's right, I didn't even really get into why I thought that the system that they had, the a la carte system, was so interesting, because they let you. And this happened to me. This was a campaign. I think Chris dropped out after the first session, but when we were doing the Underdark campaign, I wanted to be a Drugar, the dark dwarf, the kind of gray evil dwarves, and that was in the Sword Coast book that they did. So the rules for character creation for the Drugar were in there, and so I ordered the book, and it was back in the days of Book Depository, which is no longer a thing, and that their shipping was free internationally, but it was kind of long, and so we'd already started, and I needed for the first session. Session 0, I needed that information, so I just found someone that took a picture of that book on a PDF that was just a JPEG of somebody taking a photo of that book floating around on the internet. So I had that. I'd already bought the book, and I had that for the first day for the Session 0, but I didn't even know that's how they had figured out to do things on D&D Beyond. So basically, as your character progresses, or as you want to buy more feats, or as you're leveling up with your 5e character, you can buy more content piece at a time. So it's basically like a payment plan on a larger book. And once you've bought enough of the book, you can take all of the stuff that you've bought a la carte and apply that as a discount to the purchase of the full book. And I thought that was brilliant. I mean, that's a really nice way to ease into things, and you can kind of stop at any time, and not having that upfront cost. And especially when people are like, "What exactly am I buying?" Like if you're new to tabletop role playing, it's got to be kind of like people that have been doing it for a while and are used to just hoarding and collecting things and having lots of things on shelves. That's not too strange to buy a book for just one page, and you'll eventually hopefully do more with it. But that Sword Coast book, I have never used another page, or I guess it's like 2 or 3 pages, but except for those character rules for the Drugar. But yeah, pretty crazy. But I thought that was very interesting, that they made it so easy. That's very clever thinking, but it doesn't, if they want a sudden bump in revenue, or if they already know that their business, if that's the business model they're going to use for the VTT, there's not going to be any a la carte, and maybe that was too complicated a system or something for what they had planned for their VTT, then yeah, that might be what the switchover is, because it really does feel like they're just going to take D&D Beyond and kind of say, oh, now you have access to this and pay more and get monetized. But we'll see what exactly they're doing. But yeah, I had the exact experience that the previous store on D&D Beyond was trying to remedy, is like having immediate access to just something that was in one of their source books. So yeah, that's too bad. Too bad that's totally gone. And just like I did, it's going to force people to just like, I need this now. Where can I get it? Free PDF rules for, you can find those in various searches. And I think that's always going to be a problem if D&D remains dominant. That's always going to be a problem. So many people playing the game, just like Windows is vulnerable, has a lot of security issues. PC Windows, that people will always be sharing 5e if it remains popular, because there's just a lot of people that have that content. Yeah, so we'll see. Cinnabon, nice. Yeah, Kick isn't a good match. I don't even really think there's anybody doing tabletop streaming, like Twitch has a category now because it's become popular enough. Oh, and hey, we've got a new follower from Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, the Thin King Zero has followed us on Twitch. So thank you. Our following is slowly but surely growing on Twitch. Yeah, we're in the right category at least. So that's good. A lot of these platforms don't have a tabletop, so we're just like there, and people are wondering, what are you talking about? What's all the controversy? Nice. But yeah, so that's good. So looking forward to some Dune. And I think it was funny, the last session was a fun reveal, and I realized we didn't engage with the mechanics that much because there was so much story going on. So 2D20 sometimes kind of has enough of that. Like I just keeping track of people's decisions and the information that was being shared and stuff. There weren't a lot of roles. So yeah, we'll see. And also, I think I didn't keep reminding, like, you don't have to do this yourself. Like the kind of the two ways that you can engage with events in Dune, either you're having your player characters physically do that, or creating assets and sending NPCs or supporting characters to do things. I should have kept emphasizing that. But but that was fun. I think that was a really that was a fun session to kind of shake things up a little bit, because I was worried, because I'm kind of using bits and pieces from various sources and things that have been already written for the Adventures in the Imperium Dune RPG, but then also going through wikis and timelines and source stuff for Dune, including the Brian verse, Brian Herbert verse. And it's fun. It's fun to try to make these connections for things. So we'll see how things go. But we'll have face dancing and gulas and all sorts of crazy nonsense going on there. So yeah. So check us out next or tomorrow. Next time we go live for some Dune, and hopefully technically everything will be under control. And the funny thing is, we canceled right before, and it was the one session where I had updated everything and then duplicated it on both servers, on both my local server and then the US the Forge the US server for Foundry VTT. So Brune is coming up. Tune in for some Brune. Nice. Yes. So, looking forward to it. Hopefully no complications. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. And, if anybody doesn't know what's going on with the red box, they turn that fighter around, and, yes, one of those reveals. Yeah, I didn't know if Chris wanted to talk about it, so I didn't bring it up. I don't even know if it made it, because Chris being off Twitter, I don't know, or X, whatever. I don't know if it came up, what circles it came up in. But endlessly, people are frustrated with Wizards. Great stewardship of the of D&D there, guys. All right. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and especially thank you to members and oh yeah, we didn't see Abyss members and patrons. You guys make all of this possible. So tune in tomorrow for some Dune, and yeah, we'll get some other stuff going. So yeah, so Chris and I are talking about putting a Forbidden Psalm game together where we go from the gang creation and everything, and I've got almost 100 kilos of metal and wood that I'm going to be putting together for our new wargaming table. So I got the gigantic international size foldable table that we'll be doing. So we're much bigger. We're much bigger than 4x6 at this point. We're 9x5, I think. Something like that, 9x6, I think. So tune in for that. But that'll give us a lot more options for cameras and stuff, because the tables that we're using before are metric, like just basically meeting tables, the standard Japanese size meeting table. And two of them give you approximately your like half an inch less on each side, but it's basically give you a 4x6 table. And that doesn't give you a place to put down your drink or units that have been killed or rules or anything. So this will give us a little more freedom. And then when we're not wargaming, it'll just fold it up and move it out of the way. So it was kind of an inspiration. All of my original Matt's getting kicked. All of my original and you can play ping pong too. Yes, or yes you can. So all of my original like junior high school RPG time was spent on a ping pong table. Like the only table we had that was big enough was a ping pong table in the basement. So it was very nostalgic to be like, wait a minute, I know what table in Japan would be big enough to game on. So yeah, and once we can get RPG sessions going too, that's a lot of players that'll fit. So if we get back to Alien or something in real, in person, live, and all that good stuff, we'll have plenty of room now for all players around the tables. That was quite a trick last time. But thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.